Hello. This week it's something a little bit different. One of my fabulous writer friends, Marina, has tagged me in the mid-year freakout as a writer. So we're going to go through the questions, and I've not looked at them yet, so we will see. So let's get straight into it. First things first is, did you set any writing goals at the beginning of the year? What were they? Are you on track? I did. That was to complete a first draft by the end of the year. No, I am not on track. No, I think I actually said by, what did I say? I always say by the end of the year. But Marina is actually doing a 3-month challenge where she has challenged herself to write a complete first draft in 3 months, because I think she is a teacher and she obviously has, like, the summer holidays are a lot freer for her. I, however, am a parent, so the summer holidays are a little bit more difficult for me. But it has kicked me up the bum and encouraged me to get back into writing more regularly and more seriously. And I do have, I've this last week re-outlined. I've used the 27 chapter method, and I have sorry, that's Theo trying to find somewhere he wants to lay. But yeah, so I've re-outlined all of my story. It has changed quite a bit from the initial conception, which was a good few years ago, so that makes complete sense. I'm a different person. I'm gonna write a different story now. But yeah, so I've set myself a target of 600 words per day, and I should have 8,000 words by Christmas. Whether that's a complete draft or not is who knows, but it should hopefully be a complete first draft. So we're working on it. I'm not worrying about that one, but it is back up at the top of the priority list. So I'm excited about that one. And I am enjoying getting back into the world properly, which is nice. Question 2. If not already covered, what are you currently working on, and how much writing have you done so far this year? So I am writing an adult fantasy novel. I'm hoping to make it a standalone, but I've realised that as someone who regularly reads series, I find it quite difficult to have a standalone plot. I automatically start thinking in terms of series, which isn't good. So I have made it part of my sort of aim for the rest of the year to be reading more standalone fantasy novels. And I did actually go and pick up 3 from the library today. I think I got The Foxwife, Silver Mirrors, and The Rainfall Market. So I'm excited about reading those. The Foxwife was the one I went for. The other 2 came with me purely because they were pretty. And I challenge anyone to tell me that that's not how they pick a random book. So yeah, as I said, I've re-outlined everything. Usually I am a pantser, or a wanderer or a gardener, whichever term you use. But this time I've tried to be more deliberate. So I've written myself an outline. And as I said, I've fitted it into the 27 chapter method, which has really helped me, actually. I do highly recommend giving it a shot if you haven't before, because it's allowed me to see where I'm missing plot points, got the hiccups. It's allowed me to see where I'm missing things, like beats that I need for my story. So that's been really helpful. I highly recommend that one if you haven't given it a go already. Question number 3. Have you reached any milestones so far this year? It can be word count, stages in a project, or other events in the life of a writer. Have I reached any milestones? So No, not really. Oh, I did take a course. I mean, I know you don't need to take any courses to be a writer, but I did take a fantasy writing course with Elevator, um, which was really, really good. The lecturer was Ed McDonald, the author of the Blackwing series, the Blackwing trilogy, which is again brilliant. It's like grimdark fantasy, which, I mean, I'd never even heard of that sort of subgenre, but that's the kind of fantasy I like. So I don't, yeah. But anyway, highly recommend. So I completed that course and that was brilliant. And I only missed out on 5 marks overall. So, which I think yeah, it's over 95%. So it would have been a distinction. Um, but yeah, that was brilliant. And I had lots of fun doing that and learnt lots. And it was brilliant to be able to have like a working author's insight into these things and to have his eyes on your writing and to be able to chat to him and just learn to like work out different things, like where things that I can improve on, things that I'm doing well. But the other, and I will say the best part, I can hear my kids now. Yes, Artie? Yeah, 2 seconds. Cheers. Okay, where was I? Oh, any milestones so far this year? I was talking about Elevator, the course. The most beneficial thing, as wonderful and as amazing as it was to be able to have Ed's eyes sort of on my writing and giving me his feedback, was the other, oh my goodness. Reset. Was the other people on the course. So part of the group is a Discord server where we all go on there and chat about our writing projects. We can get other people's opinions. If we're struggling with anything, we can sort of like run ideas past people. And it's just a brilliant place to be. Like, it's a brilliant little community because we're all people who have similar interests. Like, we all enjoy being creatives and writing and building our own worlds, and writing is a fairly solitary task, so it's nice to have people that you can talk to about that. I'm quite lucky in the sense that I actually have 2 Discord servers where I can chat to people about things like that, and I highly recommend, even if you just find like one other person that enjoys writing, just create that little community and safe space where you can go and just complain about how hard writing is sometimes. Just actually sitting down to write, it's just a brilliant brilliant thing to have. What does your writing routine look like right now, if you have one? Has it changed since the beginning of the year or the previous year? Are you happy with it? If not, how would you like it to look? I don't currently have one. As I said, it's the summer holidays, so I'm just writing when I can. I did have one at the beginning of the year. I was going to bed an hour early and getting really cozy, taking myself a cup of tea. Sorry, I've been running up and down the stairs. Taking myself to bed with a cup of tea, like having a really nice bedtime routine, wind down. And then for an hour while I'm sat in bed, I would just handwrite. And I was getting, on average, about 3 or 4 pages of my notebook. It's just like an A5 book that I write all my story in. And yeah, it was just really nice and really cozy and something that I really look forward to. And unfortunately, that has fallen by the wayside. I think for me, Previously, I have done a morning writing routine as well, which I really, how many times can I say really? I I don't know if I can say that sentence without saying really. I appreciated getting up early and getting my writing in, and then facing the day. It doesn't matter then what happens throughout the day, because I've already won the day. I've already done the thing that sort of feeds my soul. So you can't put me in a bad mood, basically. So I would like to come up with another early morning routine, because while I enjoy my bedtime writing routine, it's very easy for that to get bumped. And yeah, also I like reading before bed as well, and I can't read if I'm going to write my own story. So I've been reading Theodora's Tea Shop before bed, so that's what I've been doing instead of writing. Have you encountered any good resources about writing? So this goes back to, and it was actually someone on one of the Discord servers that recommended to me the 27 chapter method. I will link the video down below of the one that was sent to me and the one that I watched, because I think it explains the method really well. And she actually goes through and plugs in her story beats. I can't think of whose video it was, I'm very sorry, but I will reference them and put their name and everything down below. But yes, the 27 chapter method is new to me and something that I'm finding very helpful at the moment, and I highly recommend. If you write with a playlist, what are your current go-to songs to get into the writing mode? I do not write with a playlist. I write in silence, preferably, or with the sounds of my children playing in the background. I don't know. I can write with music. It tends to be obviously, well, I say obviously, it tends to be instrumental music. Hans Zimmer is a big one for me. I have a very good sense of scene with music though. So while I do enjoy listening to Hans Zimmer, I immediately see the scene that it goes with, which can be distracting. One song that I do always find inspiring is Icarus by Tony Ann. What's the other one? Turning Pages as well by Tony Ann. It's just really beautiful, like just beautiful music. Who else? Healthy Badlands. I keep hearing songs off that album. I've not heard the whole album, so, but I do keep hearing songs off that album that I'm finding very sort of getting the cogs of my story turning. What else? Churches is always, I don't know why, I always see scenes to my story when I'm listening to Churches. But yeah, so that one's a definite one for me. And who else? Grandson, Bloodwater. That one is very much a vibe. That definitely sets the tone. So, but yeah, in terms of getting into the writing mode, I don't really listen to music in order to do that. I don't listen to music while I'm writing. I tend to get story inspiration while I'm listening to music at the gym. I had quite a big pivotal moment come to me while I was in the gym yesterday, so that was quite exciting. But yeah, I don't listen to music in order to get into the zone. If I am struggling to get into the writing mode, I will just write for 5 minutes, like conscious stream of thought sort of writing. I'll journal, like, or you can do like pick an object and just write about that object for 2 or 3 minutes. Personally, just conscious stream of thought writing for me works. And then, or even just coming up with a line, like whether it's relevant or not, just writing a line. even if it's only tenuously linked to the story or the scene, it will just, having written that first line, it will just get me going. But yeah, I don't really use music in terms of getting into the tone or the vibe. Toughest moment related to your writing so far this year? I think for me, the toughest moment that I've had in relation to my writing this year was realizing in about February that I just didn't have the time to dedicate to it, and that I was going to have to put it on the back burner. That was, I mean, that's probably also led to the fact that I haven't even, barely made a start in my first draft. But yeah, it was just having to be a grown up, really. I had to focus on things that I was getting paid to do rather than the things that I wanted to do. But yeah, so that was a tough one, but I am very excited to get back into it now. Best memory related to your writing so far this year? I think, again, it's going back to the course that I did. Just, it's not necessarily specific memories, but just the fact that this year I now have 2 Discord servers full of wonderful people that I can chat to about writing and just general creative nerdy stuff that I'm into and they're into. It's been a real game changer. Yeah, before that it was all very, hey Theo, before that it was all very insular, and I didn't even tell anyone. Like, my husband knew I was writing, but he didn't really know anything about the story or the world. And having done the course, it actually gave me the confidence to give him some of my writing and let him read it and get his feedback, which was really, really cool. Because obviously he loved it. But no, he did seem to really enjoy it, which was really nice. And it was yeah, it's a little boost. I highly recommend, if you are like me and you haven't shared your writing with anyone, just find that safe person and share it with them, or even finding that writerly person that you can exchange work with and see what the other person has to say. I do think even just a friend that where you can say, look, this is new, be gentle, I don't want any bad feedback, just tell me, what do you love about this? If you have a friend that can do that for you, or a family member, that's amazing. Just like, what about this works well? Leave it at that. Until you have the confidence to say to them, like, okay, what isn't working for you? And then, yeah, but also in the course, just learning how to take feedback. I found it very interesting that we were told, don't react to feedback, which is a really good point, actually. If you are going to ask for feedback from someone, just don't react. Let them tell you. If it's easier, share a document, let them make notes. That for me is a lot easier. And then you can read it in your own time when you're feeling good. And yeah, don't react, because you don't want to get to a point where they don't want to give you their honest feedback. But also, if they've made that comment, there's a reason. So yeah, don't react. But yeah, so I think I went off on a tangent there. Best memory related to writing this year was actually having the courage to give my husband my writing and him really enjoying it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Something important you've learned, or advice for your future self. Can be very practical about the craft or more broadly about your own practice. So yeah, I'd say the tip about feedback. Don't react. There's so many things. It's so hard to narrow it down. Writing on the daily is learning about writing. I think this, as a pantser or a wanderer or a gardener, actually taking the time to plot has taught me a lot. I usually write when I know, so I'll know the beginning, I'll know the inciting incident, and I will know the main character, and I'll have an idea of how I think it's going to end. And then I'll just start writing and I'll see where it leads me. But yeah, actually sitting down and taking the time to pause and think about it and plot everything out and put in potential plot points. Like, I am fully aware that the whole thing could change, and I'm happy for that. I am someone who will let the characters lead me. Yeah, it's shown me the things that I'm missing from my story to make it stronger. Other things I've learned from things like when I'm narrating, things that I pick up that really wind me up. So like basic things. So like if you've got some dialogue and it said, he said, or like said Kayla, she's on the screen, said Kayla. Don't then in the next paragraph say Kayla said. Pick one and stick with it. As a narrator, if you keep chopping and changing like that, I'm gonna have so many pickups, and I would really appreciate it if you stuck with it. Uniform consistency in all, not just sitting down and getting the writing done, not just consistently like bum on the chair writing. Consistency throughout writing. I think personally it's easier as a reader. It's definitely easier as a narrator. But yeah, things like, I don't know if that's helpful in this particular aspect, but that's something that I've picked up on this year. Learned as a writer, complained about as a narrator. What would you like to accomplish with your writing during the second half of the year? Getting the first draft done. I am determined to have a completed first draft by the end of this year. Something I discovered during my fantasy writing course was that I actually really, really, really enjoy editing. And I can only do that once I've written it. So let me rephrase actually. I really enjoy editing something I haven't just written. I cannot edit something I've just written. But I went back to a piece that I'd written like a month or so prior, and that was, yeah, it was just brilliant to see where my writing started and where it finished. It was actually a really strong piece of writing by the end. So my humble opinion. So yeah, I'm just excited to have a completed final draft by the end of the year. It's gonna happen. And I've told the internet now, so that's going to be my accountability, and I'm sure Marina and the others on the server will also keep me accountable. But yeah, so I am definitely going to have a first draft by the end of the year, in whatever state that takes. If it's bullet points for the chapters, for the final chapters, not for the beginning chapters. But yeah, so 600 words per day is my target. Obviously, on average, I'm not going to be writing every day. I can't write every day, unfortunately. But yeah, that would be phenomenal. And if I finish sooner, even better. I'm hoping to have a completed draft and then to be able to start editing on my birthday, which is the beginning of February. What more of a treat could I possibly give myself than a book that I've written that I get to rip apart and start again? But yes, so this has been fun. Thank you very much, Marina, for tagging me. And I think all the writers I know have been tagged in this already. I'm going to tag them again. I'm pretty sure I'm also the last one to do this this video, so never mind. I shall thank you all in the description. But yes, thank you for watching, and I hope you're all having fun and building your own worlds. So that is all that they are all the questions. Thank you very much for staying if you've made it this far, and I shall see you next time. Bye.